Today's video is sponsored by the Overwatch Humble Monthly. For $12, you will get instant access to Overwatch, which is a historic low price for the game. And on top of that, you'll get the rest of the bundle on the first Friday of October. So expect more great games for your $12. These games are for you to keep. You'll get keys for all of them, and even if you cancel, you'll have access to them forever. Also, during your subscription time, you will have access to the Humble Trove, a host of great games available to you for no additional cost. Check out the link in the description box below. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. In this video, I want to take a look at both of the free weekends that Steam is running this weekend. Games that I'm not too familiar with, but they both look like pretty interesting games, and I'll be testing them out over the weekend. And you can check them out too, absolutely free this weekend. Of course, after the weekend, they will no longer be free. However, you can pick up both games at a discounted price right now. Also, I want to take a little bit of a look at Fallout 76. We've gotten a confirmed date on when the PC beta will be hitting, and we've got the confirmed download size for the game. Also, RPCS3, the PS3 emulator, continues to make massive gains, and this time it's with a PlayStation 3 exclusive franchise. And lastly, for those of you still hunting for a great GPU deal, I have a pretty good one for you guys on a mid-range GPU, on the lower end side of things, to be perfectly honest, but a great price nonetheless, so we'll take a look at that at the end of this video. First up, the free-to-play weekends that Steam is running right now. Last Tide, an underwater battle royale title where you face ferocious megalodons, great whites, and more. Of course, the battle royale genre has been getting pretty oversaturated recently, but this one obviously has a new unique gimmick to it. You don't see any underwater BR games. It's an early access title right now, but you can play it free this weekend. It's also running a little bit of a discount at 15% off for $12.74. Alternatively, its regular price is $15. This game is done by the same guys that put out Depth. If you guys are familiar with that game, that is an underwater action multiplayer survival game. Pretty popular on Steam, so Last Tide kind of goes hand in hand with that. They've actually got a bundle Depth and Last Tide. That's 16% off for $29.46. Also, another game that's seeing a free-to-play weekend right now is I'm Not a Monster. This game actually just released. It released yesterday, and a lot of people are comparing it to an XCOM-style strategy game. It was released at $12.99. It's discounted 20% to $10.39. Looks to be a pretty interesting game. If you're a fan of strategy games, if you're a fan of XCOM, this might be one to check out. It has a cool, unique look to it, although I wouldn't say the visuals are anything to write home about. But again, another title you can check out free this weekend. Okay, moving on from that, of course, we are coming up on the release of Fallout 76. Now, we do know that game won't be available on Steam. Rather, it'll be available on Bethesda's own platform, and we do know that the beta for the title for PC will be hitting on October 30th. Xbox One players actually get it a week earlier on October 23rd. October 30th is the day for PC and PS4, and we have a download size for the beta as well. It's gonna be a whopping 45 gigabytes. Now, some of you guys might think that this is absolutely enormous for a beta, but actually it's not that bad, because Fallout 76, this beta, they're calling it the Break It In Early Test application. It's not even really a beta. When you're doing a beta a couple weeks prior to the release, you can't really say it's a beta in the traditional sense of what a beta is supposed to be. However, with this Break It In Early Test application on PC, after you download it, which it's gonna be 45 gigabytes, but this is the game. It's essentially the full game, and after you download this, it's not like you're gonna have to download the game all over again. You're just gonna keep the Fallout 76 beta, and I imagine they'll release some updates and whatnot, and you'll have to download that. But the beta is a pretty clear picture of what you're gonna get in the final game. It's not gonna be available for an entire duration. From what I've read, Bethesda is gonna do it in blocked periods of time, so say a 4-hour period or an 8-hour period. During that period, you'll be able to go on and you'll be able to play Fallout 76. This way, they'll be able to test for any fixes that they need to do, and they'll be able to get as many people on as possible. That was their statement, so that is something to note. If the beta was just available 24/7 at that point, Break It In Early Test application should probably just be the full game release. So I get where they're coming from in this instance. And by the way, if you don't know, if you do want to be a part of the Fallout 76 Break It In Early Test application, you will need to pre-order the game. Fallout 76 officially releases on November 14th, so this beta starts only 2 weeks ahead of that release. So like I said, in your traditional sense of what you think of as a beta, Fallout 76 definitely isn't that. They're calling it a beta for the name's sake. However, they're even saying it's a Break It In Early Test application. So enough about Fallout 76. RPCS3 continues to make massive gains. This time, it's making gains in all of the Ratchet and Clank games. That includes Ratchet and Clank 2 Tools of Destruction, Into the Nexus, Ratchet Clank All for One, and Full Frontal Assault. Ratchet Clank A Crack in Time also finally progressed past the first level, so RPCS3 continues to make massive gains, and I really wanted to cover that because Ratchet Clank is one of those franchises we're never gonna see on PC through an official release. Of course, you can play through all of the PS2 Ratchet Clank offerings on PC thanks to PCSX2, and all of those games are so good. Even though some people weren't a fan of Ratchet Deadlocked, I thoroughly enjoyed that game too. And if RPCS3 gets to a point where we can play Tools of Destruction and A Crack in Time, will definitely count me in for those. Both of those games were fantastic as well. So that would be great, and it's great to see RPCS3 continue to make progress. Again, a lot of this is done thanks to all of the patrons. They've got a significant backing, and if you're interested in the emulator, maybe consider backing yourself. And lastly, for those of you still struggling to find good hardware deals, it shouldn't be too difficult at this point. I see pretty good hardware deals around all the time, but right now you can pick up a Gigabyte Radeon RX 570 4GB GPU for just $150. That's a fantastic deal for an RX 570, which was a GPU that really was fumbling with its pricing. A lot of times you would see 570s around the same price as 580s, and you really didn't have that solid offering at that $150 range. You had GPUs like the 1050 Ti, but the 1050 Ti isn't that great of a GPU, and even the 1050 Ti would sometimes be more expensive than 150, so a 570 for 150, that is absolutely fantastic, and this really acts as a quality 1080p GPU at a great price of $150. For a long time, a lot of focus was put on GPUs like the 1060, the 580, the 1070, 1080, all those GPUs skyrocketing in price, and 4GB at 1080p is absolutely fine, so don't worry about that. So the link to that deal will be in the description box down below, and that's gonna conclude this video. Again, check out Last Tide and I'm Not a Monster absolutely free over the weekend. You can enjoy a discount on both of those titles. Fallout 76 beta will be hitting PC on October 30th. It's gonna be 45GB, and it is essentially the full product, so bear that in mind when you're wondering why you're downloading such a gigantic beta. Ratchet & Clank games are making massive gains on RPCS3, so that's great to see, and that RX 570 deal, if you want a GPU on the cheap, a great option there. That's gonna wrap up this one, guys. If you guys have a request for a future video, leave it in the comments section down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.